Welcome back everyone. So in the last video we solved flattened deeply nested array, and in this video we are going to solve compact object. So let's dive in. Okay, so we will be given either an object or an array. We have to return a compact object. Now a compact object is same as the original object except with the keys containing falsy values are removed. So this operation applies to the object and in nested objects. Arrays are considered object where the indices are keys. A value is considered falsy when boolean of that value returns false. Now you may assume the object is the output of JSON parse, and in other words it's a valid JSON. Now let's see first example. So this is a falsy value, this one is also falsy, and this is also falsy value. So in the resulting output only there will be the last index value, that is 1. Now all the falsy value have been removed from the array. In the example 2, this is a falsy and this one is truthy, but the value at key B contain a falsy value, that this false at index 0, it will be removed. So the resulting output will be key with B and the value will only contain 1 as a value. Okay. In the example 3, the first value is falsy, second is falsy, third will be included in the resulting output, fourth will be included in resulting output after compacting it. So after compacting this array, 0 will be removed, so it will only be a empty array. Also, empty arrays are truthy. So it is given here, a value is considered falsy when boolean of that value returns false. So boolean of empty array is true. And the last value, it contains one falsy value. So after compacting this array, only 16 will be left in it. So we'll return array with value 16. So now we'll solve this. Okay, so the approach is that first we'll check if the object is null or undefined, we will return same value, null or undefined. But if the type of object is not object, this means that the object is primitive. It can be a number, but it is a primitive, okay, like string. So we'll return the primitive value as it is. All we want to do is we have to compact array and object. So if it is not an array or not an object, then we'll simply return the same value. Now the two cases will happen. Either it is an array or it is an object. Now if it is an array, then we will clone the array and filter out all those values where the key or that value inside that array is not truthy. Now if it is truthy, then we have to compact that value as well, because we don't know what that truthy value is. It can be primitive, it can be object, and it can be an array. Okay. Now the second case, that is if it is an object. Now if it is an object, then we have to check the value at all those keys, and if the value is falsy, then we have to remove that key, and if it is truthy, then we have to compact the value and put it inside that object. So these are only the two cases that we have to handle. So let's see, if we don't get an object, we'll simply return the object. But if type of this object is not equal to object, is not object, so let's see first in the inspect window tool, you can see that type of array is an object and type of object is also an object. So we have to check these two cases. So if the object we are receiving is not an object, then it must be primitive, right? So we'll return the same object. Now the two cases are, if it is an array, then we have to handle it separately. Else it is an object, then we have to handle it separately. Now if it is an array, we have to clone this array and remove all the falsy value. So we'll create a duplicate array, that is clone array. Okay. Now for each value in this array, we will check if this is truthy. So truthy is, if this is truthy item, or we can say boolean of this item is truthy. So we can simply write here item. So if it is only true, then we will push this inside array. Now we will not push item because we don't know what an item is. It can be primitive, it can be object, or it can be an array. So we'll compact this item and push it inside the array. Okay, that's it, and we will return the clone array. Now the next case is if it is an object. So for each key, we will check this. For each key of object dot keys inside this object, we will check if it is falsy. Okay, then we will delete this key from this object. So in this object, we will delete this key. But if it is truthy, then in that case, we will compact the value at that key, because we don't know what value that key has. It can be primitive. In that case, the same value is assigned. If it is an object, then we will filter falsy values from the object and assign again to that key. If it is an array, then we'll filter out all the falsy value from that array and assign again to that key. So we'll compact this object, the value at this key. So we'll compact this and assign again to the same key, and finally we'll return the same object. We will run this function against these example 1, example 2 and example 3 manually. First, let's see if this works or not. So there is something wrong. We get an object, and if type of this is type of and not type, okay, so if constant item of object, and if item, then we have to clone array dot push inside this array the compact object of item. So local test case has been passed. Now we will submit this, and our solution got accepted. So first let's understand what we did. So first we check that if there is no such object, it can be undefined, null or whatever, it is falsy, then we'll return the object. Else we'll check if it is not an object, then it must be a primitive value, then we'll return that primitive value. Now there are two cases, either it is an array or it is an object. If it is an array, then we'll clone that array for each item. Only if it is truthy, we'll compact that truthy value and push it inside the clone array. And finally, we'll return that array. Else it is an array, then for each key, we check if this key is falsy, that means the value at that key is falsy, then we will delete that key. Else we will assign to the same key the compacted value at that key, and finally we will return that object. Now we will run this same function on these examples. Okay, so let's see first example. So in first example, we have null, 0, false and 1. Now this array is passed to this compact object. So compact object will receive this array. Now inside that, we'll check if the object is falsy, we will return object, which is in this case is false. Now the second check will check the type of this object is not object, will return, but the type of this object is object. So we'll move on to the next lines. Is this an array? Yes, this is an array. So in this first call, okay, we will go inside, we will get a clone of this array. Now for each item, if we check if it is truthy, so for the first item it will be checked, is it truthy? No. Then the second item, it will be no. For third item, it will be. For the fourth item, that is 1. It will go here. Is it truthy? Yes, it is truthy. So inside the clone array, we will push what? We will push the compact object of 1. Okay, so this compact function is called again. So second time it is called compact object 1. So it will go here. So it will check if it is falsy, no. If the type of object is not object, which is true in this case, so it will return 1 only. So one, this function will complete. Okay, then it will come here at end. So this is completed here. This function will completed. Then it will go back to previous call here, and then we'll come to the next item. So next item is nothing. So it will move on to the return clone. So it will return the array. So that array will be only this because cloned array pushed only 1 in that array. Now let's look at the second example. So in the second example, we have A with the value of null, B with the value of false, and okay. So the function call will execute. So we'll call compact object with this object. So we'll check if it is falsy. No, it's not falsy. If the type of object is not object, no, it is type object. So it will not be executed. Then we'll come here. It is an array. No, it is not an array. So we'll come here. So here first we'll check for each key. For each key, if the value at that key is truthy, if it is not truthy, here it is not truthy, we will delete that key. So value at key A is null, it is not truthy, so we will delete that key. Okay, then we'll go to the second key, that is D. So is it truthy? Yes, it is truthy. So it will come to the else part. In the else part, we will assign a key B. At key B, we will assign the same value but by compacting. So it will be something like A is removed only, so it will be B. So B will be compact object and that array false with value 1. So a new function is called compact object with false and value 1. Okay, now this will go here. Is it falsy? No. If the type of object is not object, the type of this array is object, it will come here. So here we'll create a clone array, then for each value we'll check, is this truthy? No, so it will not be pushed to the clone array. Is it truthy? Yes, it is truthy, and it will push inside the clone, and finally we will return the clone array. So this function call will complete and call will come back here, and the return value will be this. So B will be assigned with an array that contains only 1. So final result will be with value 1 inside the array. Okay, so now we'll see example 3. So in example 3, we have an array with null 0, 5, array with value 0, array with value false, and 16. Okay, so the first call will be made compact object with this array. Now we'll check, is this falsy? No. Is the type of this object is not equal to object? Yes, the type of this object is object, so it will not pass and will come here. Now is this is an array? Yes, it is an array. Now for each value we'll check, if this is truthy, we will push the compact that object inside the cloned array. Is this truthy? No. Is this truthy? No. Is this truthy? If item, yes, then we'll push inside the cloned array the compact 5. So for compact object, we'll call again compact object with 5. So this will return 5 only. So this function call will complete, and clone array we will push 5. Okay. Now for next value is array. So we'll call again compact object with this array we contain only 0. So we'll come here. Is this falsy? No. Is the type of object not equal to object? False. So we come back here again. So for each value in this array, if it is true, so first value is 0. Is this truthy? No. So next, there is no next value. So it will finally return the cloned array. And the cloned array is empty because we didn't push any value. So the function call complete and will put the value at the array inside cloned array. Now the next value is this array. So another compact function call will be executed which contain false and 16. Now we will again go here. Is this falsy? No. And the type of this array is an object, so it will come here again. So for each item, is this truthy? No. Is this truthy? Yes. So this value will be put inside the clone array. So compact object will be called for 16. It will complete. It will return 16 here, and this will be put inside the cloned array. So cloned array here inside this compact object, the clone array will have 16. Okay, now we will return the clone array, and that clone array will be this, and this will push inside this clone array. So finally the result will be 5 empty array and then array with 16. So we are recursively compacting the values because we don't know what the value will be. So for each item in the array, if it is truthy, we will compact the item and then only we will push into the cloned array. Same case in the object. If it is not truthy, we will it, but if it is truthy, the value we cannot trust. We don't know if it is object or an array. It cannot be falsy because we removed the value, but it can still be an array or an object, or it can be a primitive value. If it is primitive, good, but if it is an object or an array, we have to compact that, right? So we call the compact for this value and assign it again to this key. Now we'll submit this, and our solution got accepted.